Welcome to Violin Adventures number 177. We continue work on our violin from the 1700s. Also, we do a couple other things. I hope you enjoy. But first, we have a surprise package. All right, I got a box in the mail. Let's open it up. Beautiful hammer, and it's long. Yes, look at, there's a big guy. Really nice. Okay, I'll show you up close, but thank you for the wonderful surprise. I'm gonna treasure these, definitely. Look at these beautiful hammers, the Wamara Heartwood. The metals are stainless steel 303 and bronze C510. And these come from Mr. Cosman. All right, these are going to be laying around in my shop, hither and thither. And did you see that these tops just come right off? How special is that? And I'm thinking on this big one, it can even act as a gavel. Listen to this. Hide glue only. It works real nice as a gavel too. Now, all these carefully formed heads are going to go in a special drawer over here in my array of different drawers. So I think this is the perfect drawer. Actually right here, right there. The big ones in that drawer and the smaller ones in this drawer where they're safe and protected. It's a late Sunday night, but I want to get a head start on the work for the week. So we have here our cello, seam, and make sure it went together nicely. Yes, it went together real nicely. Let's see. That sounds really good. So we just have to get cleats on here and then close it back up. I'm eager to find out if I can hear any buzzing on this. I don't know, can you hear that? That sounds good. I don't hear any buzzing. Okay, our first item of business this week is to work on our violin from the 1700s. And I got the neck out because we need to reset the neck at a proper angle, but in doing so, part of the ribs here cracked, just like crackers. They're so brittle, and that's one reason why I'm making fresh new glue, is we're going to fix this rib and we're going to put a support behind it so that it won't crack anymore. Now, if my voice sounds different, it is because just last week, in the last couple days, the trees just scattered everywhere all over Kentucky with these white blossoms, and are beautiful, but they're causing me to have allergies. I'm hoping that will pass as soon as the flowering goes away. It's so beautiful to look at, but it's attacking my sinuses. I'm checking the glue, making sure that it hasn't lost its strength. That feels really good. Okay. So I've added 5 more cleats. That makes a total of 13 cleats plus the sound post patch. So we'll check the tone after these are all dry. And the good thing is I'm not hearing any more buzzing. Okay, there we have it. Got out my little tiny clamps. These are so helpful at times in supporting it. We'll see how that is when it dries. So I've been working on the rib here that was so fragile, it would just crumble or crack, so thin and brittle. So it's still in the process of drying, but I thought what I'm going to do is get a new upper block in and let that help support it. And then I was looking at my clamps, and this might be interesting to you. I have this clamp, which I've never used before. I've just treasured it, but it might just be perfect when I glue this up. Of course, it's got a real nice thick pad here of leather on both sides, and I thought that would be a great clamp on the side of the rib that is so delicate. And then I also have another old clamp like this with nice cork on both sides, and I might use that on the other side, we'll see. These are my little buddies. I use them all the time. They have a little tiny pin here, so when you're doing something very delicate and you don't want it to move, it'll just attach real nicely. And there, look at that little guy. It's just such a tiny little clamp, but they're so useful. So I'm getting out all the little clamps that I think might be helpful and that are light and not damaging at all, just very delicate. It looks like the original repair here is holding very well, and I just thought by putting a little bigger block in here, that'll just give more strength to that area. Okay, our glue is hot, so we'll get this new block in. It always soaks up so much glue. Okay, it's time to get these clamps off. Okay, that feels really good, very strong, and hopefully there won't be any more trouble with these ribs. Okay, it's sounding good. This lower block is so small. I'm going to just put a little bit bigger one in there, and we're going to replace the lower block so that it has the strength that it needs. Okay, that was fun, getting those ribs to go nicely onto the block so they go in the right place. So I'm happy with it now. Now, as soon as this dries, there was a little design that was in the middle of the seam, and I'll get that back in. But I want this to dry in the proper place first. Well, it's time to read an anecdote while our violin is drying. So I'm reading from Anecdotes of Great Musicians, printed in 1897. I'm going to read number 173, Beethoven Punished. What would we have done for Beethoven anecdotes without Ries? R-I-E-S. I probably mispronounce a lot of words, so we'll see how it goes. Here's one that this pupil of the master tells in his enjoyable style. One evening I was to play a sonata of Beethoven's, which one does not often hear. As he was present, and as I had not studied this sonata with him, I declared myself willing to play the others, but not this. The company turned to Beethoven, who at length said, Now, you will not play so badly that I cannot listen. In the end, I was obliged to play. Beethoven turned, as usual, toward me. When I made a mistake in the left hand, he tapped me on the head with his finger, which the princess, who leaned on the piano opposite, laughingly observed. After I had finished, Beethoven said, "Well done. You do not need to learn sonatas with me first." The finger tap only proved my attention to you. Later, Beethoven played and chose the D minor sonata, opus 31. The princess, who expected that even Beethoven would make some mistakes, stood behind his chair while I turned the music. Soon he blundered noticeably. The princess gave him a few not very soft strokes on the head with the remark, "If a pupil receives a finger stroke for a false note, then the master must be punished with a full hand for greater mistakes." Everyone laughed, Beethoven first. He then began again and played wonderfully, especially the adagio, which was inimitable. And one more. This is 174, Violin Collectors, and I have my gavel in hand. It has long been a source of satisfaction to virtuosi and wealthy amateurs to make collections of old and rare violins. While this keeps these valuable instruments out of use for a time, it certainly acts as a preservative, and future generations get the benefit of what we are deprived. Paganini had in his collection, among other cremonas, a Strad, a small Guarneri, and a Monti, a Strad bass, and the large Guarnerius which was given to him, and which he so loved that he gave it to Genoa to keep sacred from the profaning touch of any succeeding artist. I believe this wish has been followed in every case with one exception, that of his pupil Sivori. A good example of the wealthy amateur was Gallo, the millionaire Birmingham pen manufacturer. He had a penchant, excuse the pun, for collecting violins and letting them be unused and uncared for. He was not a player himself, and it is a question whether he realized the possibilities of any one of his valuable collection. At his death, there was found in one room of his factory over $200,000 worth of fiddles, and in other rooms many cellos and basses. At one time, he had about 500 instruments collected together, making probably the largest number of valuable Italian instruments ever owned at one time by a single person. And here's my gavel. You shall not let your violins be uncared for and unused. Send them to me and I'll fix them up for you so that you can use them. Well, until next time, we leave off there. We're finishing up the cello repair. All right, it's time to get the cleats in on this cello here. Okay, the cleats are in. We're going to let this dry for a good amount of time. I'm going to take the cleats down, and then it'll be ready to close up and get back into service again. Okay, we got our hot hide glue ready, and we'll see about getting this top on. Okay, I'm ready to put the sound post in, and I thought, how fun would it be if I could put the camera inside and you could watch the sound post being put in, but of course I don't have the equipment to do that. So I thought, well, I'll show you the tools I use. This one is so important to get that in there, but then lots of times you need to straighten it up. And then you need to check inside with a light and a mirror to make sure that we have full contact on the top and the bottom. And sometimes it falls down and then you need something to get it out that won't harm the instrument. Working on the 1700's violin, we're closing in on this old violin. Now inside I've signed my name with all the others. That the last signature that was in here was in 1924. So here's just a close-up of all the signatures that are in this violin. This is the earliest one, and it says it was repaired by Ferdinand Hoyfs in 1877. The next one is over here. This was repaired by R.H. Harrington in 1915. It's amazing how clear their writing is. This red ink is the same, 1915. And then this one is the latest one, repaired in 1924. And the label is Pietro Paolo Vittor, which I find here in my book. And I have to agree that the arching is very exaggerated. All right, we're gonna get a label in here, a special label. And now we're gonna close this up. All right, the 1700's violin is closed up. Next week we'll be installing the neck and hopefully setting it up and hearing how it sounds. There it is. Freddie wants to chat.
Hi, I'm Freddie. And I'm so excited. I got some mail, and my friend Mrs. Jacobson, she sent me 2 blankets. She calls them quilts. I'll show you. Here's one. Now I got a nice, beautiful blanket. And here's the other one. It has a bear on it. And it's red, white, and blue. Thank you, Mrs. Jacobson. I love my quilts. Wow. Next is my good friend, Mr. Thomas Pinch. And he's going to show us something very, very special that he worked on, and now it's playing. Wow.
Hi Cheryl, hi Freddie, Thomas Pinch here, and greetings to you from here in North Yorkshire in the UK. I thought today I'd play a tune on my old Symphonia musical box. It's a folk song from Germany and it's called Die Lorelei. I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you for sending that video. And hi to all my friends out there. Don't forget to send in your pictures and videos. Bye.
The Hebrew Minute. Bitchu bo bechal et. Shifku lefenaiv levavkim Elohim machaseh lenu sila. Trust in him at each moment, ye people. Pour out your heart before him. God is a refuge for us. Selah. If you know where this is found, please leave it in the comments below. If you have a verse that you would love for me to read in Hebrew, please put it in the comments below. Now for a special announcement, I am thinking of our 200th episode. It would be grand if y'all would come and see me on that week, but I know you can't. I would like to make the 200th episode a celebration of all of you who participate in the comments and who view my videos. I would love for you to send in either pictures or video of what you do, and it doesn't have to be related to music. It can be whatever you do. If you're sitting in an office somewhere, or you drive a truck somewhere, or if you have a shop, show us your shop. Or if you're working on cooking in the kitchen, whatever you're doing, just send a snapshot or a short little video, and I would love to fill the video with all of you. And if you don't want to show yourself, that's fine. Just show the project you're working on. So, my email is in the description box below if you'd like to send those and be included in our 200th episode. Well, thank you so much for watching, for all your wonderful comments and your thumbs up, and thank you to the new subscribers. And until next time, bye! A new set of bees just arrived in the mail, and we were excited to get them installed in their new home. We're taking out the can that has the food in it, and that will release the bees. And here I'm pulling out the queen in her cage. First time for me. So the queen is down there on the right in a little box. They're going to eat her out, eat out the candy and get her out. And the rest of the bees will follow.